guys, happy Thursday. It's nice seeing you. Thanks for watching tonight. Thanks replay viewers for being here. We are going to continue on the back of my Splendid Sampler quilt along, back of the quilt. I've been using all of my scraps to form the back, and now I'm working on making some of those smaller little blocks that we put together, putting them into larger panels that I can sew onto the larger portion of the quilt. So I've planned out a new panel, and I've slashed it already so I can put in some of these smaller pieces. So that's the plan for tonight. And I also went fabric shopping today. I went to a local place here called S.R. Harris, which is basically a huge warehouse, a huge cementy warehouse in some industrial park, and it's just stacks and stacks and stacks, floor to ceiling rolls, 2 stories high basically of fabric. You have to just kind of pull it out, just try and grab it from different places. But I did get some stuff from there, so I'll show you that as well. Thanks for coming in. If you're new, my name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, penguinandfish.com. You can find me, and anywhere Penguin and Fish on Instagram and here on Facebook. And I'm here every night at 9:30 p.m. Central. Thanks so much for coming in tonight. At Penguin and Fish, we make lovely and quirky hand embroidery patterns and kits. And we'll be doing some more of those on here soon. So stay tuned for that. So, all right, I'm going to flip you around and we'll have a little show and tell, and then we'll start sewing. So thanks for coming in, guys. Okay, so here's the fun stuff. So probably the least fun, but fun for me, is I got a whole pile of just this simple kind of bluish gray jersey. I want to try making a t-shirt again. I took that class a little while ago, and I thought this was fun, and I got a pile extra in case I wanted to make, I thought this would be like really cool joggers or something, or pajama pants or something. So just some basic jersey, which, I want to learn how to do jersey better. Oh, Bonnie, that is so funny. That is so cool. All right, and then for some reason I had to buy every sparkly fat quarter that I saw. So this is that, who makes this? I think it's Robert Kaufman, but I'm not positive, but that's sparkly. So all of these have some sort of little shine and sparkle in there. I especially like this green one. I think it's just kind of crazy. So I have no purpose whatsoever for these right now. And some of them, it makes some neat combinations. Like, I don't have to have them all together. Like, this would be really pretty for something. Or even, all these greens together look fun. Fairy Frost, it could be, so that's the thing with S.R. Harris. It's all, I bet you I can just look at the selvage. It's all like overflow stuff that they get, cheaper from somewhere. So it's all kind of discounted. And they get it from fashion designers and all that sort of thing. So there could be like Ralph Lauren, a bolt of something there. And then I got these batiks, which I think are just so beautiful. So I got these from the Remnant area, but they have a whole pile of batiks. For some reason, batiks have been calling to me lately. So batiks are they're that fabric that is made with, it's dyed a couple times, and then it has like a wax resist. So like they would dye it this kind of gray color first, and then they'd have their stamps, their little blocks with, they'd put wax on them, and then they dye it again like really dark. And then they take the wax off. So that's kind of how batiks are done, I believe. But man, aren't these pretty? I think this would just be neat as something. I have no idea what. I think it'd be a cool quilt though, just with these 4. Just to play with batiks. I've never really done that before. Except for the Splendid Sampler here, we had a few of those in. So these are just from the Remnant pile. I think it's at least a yard of each. I think I got 2 yards of this, but oh man, I just think this is so beautiful. So I'm pretty stoked to play with these, but man, like I needed more fabric, but I don't know. I'm happy with it. I'm excited to start playing around. especially like I want to try and do a t-shirt again, so that's why I have this. Yes, Judith, anyone can stop there. It's actually a huge stopping point. If you do like a Minnesota quilt tour, you might end up at S.R. Harris. It is just a ridiculous warehouse with rolls and rolls of fabric, and people buy like fabric for like to make their quinceanera dresses or saris, or they have like all that really decorative fabric too, not just quilting weight, just all sorts. So it was such a fun outing today. All right, guys. Anyway, I am really excited about that. So maybe we'll come up with a project here that we can use some of that fabric for, like the boutiques. I'm really excited about those. So I have pre-cut and kind of laid out. I have a long panel that I want to put on the side, and I've cut out these little chunks. So like I want, this guy to be on this blue, and then I'll sew all these blue pieces together. But I have all the like mini panels to put all of them together. So I'm going to start there tonight, and we will press and everything. We'll see how it goes. I know, Bonnie, I am with you. It's all the little fabric stores are kind of going away, which is a huge, bummer. These stores try and make it work, and there's been a lot of places closing lately, so that hasn't been nice at all. There's the Crafty Planet. Crafty Planet, it's not called the Crafty Planet anymore, but I think one of the employees purchased it. Something like that. So that is still in, I think that's kind of by the fairgrounds a little bit. I haven't been there in a little while. That's where I took my class to make the t-shirt out of, or I made it like a 3/4 length shirt. That's kind of what I want to try again with that jersey fabric that I got. But yeah, I don't know. All the little boutiques there's not many of those in the Minneapolis area anymore, at least. But yeah, S.R. Harris is a little different than one of those little boutiques. That's a world upon itself going over there for sure. They have just like aisles of trim, and to me it's similar to going to New York to one of those stores that is just rolls upon rolls of things, and you got to really dig and know what you're looking for. It's kind of like one of those stores, but you can be there like all day if you're not careful. We managed to get out. I went with some friends, and we managed to get in and out of there in like an hour and a half or so, which was pretty dang good, I think. Why do you want to go to Minnesota for fabrics? You've got South Dakota fabrics at home. That's funny. Yeah, it was fun. Definitely, it was busy for definitely not as busy as it usually is if you go like on a weekend or something. But for a Thursday afternoon, there were quite a few people there. All right, so we got one block on here. I'm gonna just press the rest of this. So the panel that I want to put this on is a little less than the width of fabric. Like here's the fold line of the fabric, and then I just cut a little bit more. This will all get trimmed because we added that large piece to the end. But for now, I'm just going to combine pieces, and then I'll figure out how much I need to trim afterwards. Oh, Joey, I went to S.R. Harris today. I made it up there finally again. So that was super fun. All right, I'm kind of trying to keep all this in order. So I'm gonna try and make a pile somewhere. So this is the most top piece. There's not of the panel. I'm not sewing anything to this one. The one I just did was the most bottom piece. So, all right, most top piece, I think I'm going to set that behind me on my chair so I can keep it in order. So, all right, here is the next second to last piece, or second to top piece. This one I wanted to split in two, and this one had kind of a wonky edge, so I mimicked that edge with my blue. So I have two kind of angled edges. So when I put them together, it won't look like they lined up. You know, see, it'll be kind of angled. But once we press it, it should be good. So that's next up. Oh gosh, yeah, it was fun, Joe. It's been years since I've been there. They have a lot more quilting weight fabric than they did last time I was there, and a whole area of batiks. And for some reason, I've been just itching to do something with batiks. You know, we had that little taste of it when I got some of my mom's fabric for the Splendid Sampler here, and there was a whole pile of people for the Splendid Sampler. Well, maybe not a whole pile, but there were several people that were using batiks exclusively for their whole quilt. And man, there's just something so hands-on about it and pretty, and I wanted to use some too. So I don't know. I think those will turn into a quilt. Any 30s? I'll show you what I got again here. So I got these batiks. These are the cool batiks that I'm talking about. So these were all remnants. So I got lucky to find these. They have the remnants in those giant laundry baskets. So this, and then I got a light to go with it too. But I think they're really pretty. I might just do the blues and this black together. But I do like this green gold thing happening too. So I like them all together. It'd be fun. I was thinking to do maybe a patchwork of these two, and then with these two, they could be like little diamonds or something in the middle of them. I don't know, something simple. I gotta figure out a nice use for them though. I'm not sure what to use for the background though. And then, oh yeah, this is when it went a little too far. I found the fat quarter bin, and I just, for some reason, I've seen this like sparkly. It's got all these sparkles in. I've seen this before, and then after I found this, I had to find every other fat quarter that had sparkles in. So all these are shiny for some reason, which I just think is silly. And oh god, I have no idea what to do with them. They're kind of weird. I don't know, but they were fun. And then I got a jersey fabric. Yes, so we had to cut our own as well. Okay, this has another piece to it, so I'm gonna sew that on. Yeah, so we cut our own, and that went okay. They have like these super dull scissors that you cut your own with. But it's pretty fun. It's just neat to dig around. The friend that I went with, she has a stool that she wants to upholster. And she wants to put this faux fur on it, like really weird fuzzy faux fur. So we gotta go down the faux fur aisle, and man, there's some wacky stuff down that aisle. That was pretty fun. I think you have to cut your own, but if it's like over 5 yards, then someone else has to cut it for you. Or some of the super expensive stuff, like silk stuff, that you have to get someone to cut. But they had foam there, if you wanted to redo a couch or something, and they had pillows. It's basically just weird overstocked stuff from design houses and manufacturers that they, I don't know, probably get for super cheap, and they throw up on a shelf. It's S.R. Harris, Janet. I think it's in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, Brooklyn Center, Brooklyn something. But S.R. Harris, if you just do a Google for that, it will pop up right away. I'm not sure if they have pictures. I didn't really check out their website. I just checked to see when they opened and stuff today. It's about, it was a half-hour drive from the Twin Cities. I don't know, maybe 15 minutes to 20 minutes to a half hour from the cities. So fun though, worth just to go to, just because it's just so much. It's not your typical quilt boutique, that's for sure. Pretty fun, but without an objective, you can get pretty lost in there. Ooh, I pressed a little crease in here, bummer. All right, I'm gonna press the rest of this quick. Yeah, so my only objective, oh, you used to buy scenery fabric there. Oh man, that makes total sense. It's definitely a place where you're like, man, I need to find some crazy fur that you know, I can put some crazy lace and sheer whatever with for some crazy monster costume or whatever. You know, those are the types of things that you go there with. It's just problems like that. It's definitely, you can find some kooky stuff there, or, you know, crazy fabric that would make like the weirdest shirt ever, but still would be kind of super fun. I don't know. There's some little treasures there for sure. All right, I'm still going in order here. So here's another section where I didn't want a piece in. So I have this little panel. All these will get sewn together when I'm done. All right, I think the rest is pretty pressed. I'm just trying to keep them in order. Yeah, I can't believe I haven't been there in so long. I think it's just because it feels like it's a trek out of town when really it isn't. It's just, it was literally like a 28-minute drive, so I don't know. All right, let's get this piece on. I think maybe, you know, I've been trying to use up all my stuff, not buy more stuff, so that could be a reason. And then of course I buy a bunch of stuff. Ah, well. I did want to maybe try making a t-shirt or like a little sweatshirt this summer. Just try that again after that class. So I did get that jersey fabric. And then that opened a can of worms of looking around at other stuff, and you know, that goes. So, I really like that batik stuff though. I'm pretty excited about those. And they had aisles and aisles of batiks. Oh yeah, so I think that's relatively new. Like, I don't remember that last time, or maybe I just wasn't interested last time, I don't know. I could likely be too. But yeah, aisles and aisles of batik. So instead of getting a batik, instead of like pulling it off of the bolt, I just looked through the remnants, which is fun. Found a couple pretty ones in there. All right, there's another panel. And yeah, just tons of batiks. And I don't know, like I said, I'm kind of into them all of a sudden. All right, and then I got a big square here that I want to. This is my last big piece of this blue, and I wanted it to just be like a huge piece on, a huge square on this quilt, because I am having these really big dark blue pieces now. So I needed like this big blue with the squares to kind of offset all this dark blue I'm putting in lately to fill all the gaps. Oh man, you really can get lost in that place for sure. It was fun though. So much stuff. But again, if you don't have an agenda going in there, then you're gonna end up with so much stuff. So much weird, random stuff that you'll have in your fabric stash forever just because it's pretty and you don't know what to do with it. Which is probably where these batiks and fat quarters will end up. But hey, it'll eventually get made into something. Just like this fabric that I'm using for the Splendid Sampler, that was a lot of that was in my shelf for just years. Too pretty to use. I don't know. Now that I'm doing all these nightly shows with you guys, I've been cranking through fabric a whole lot faster, so that's kind of awesome. Oh, yep, so they have lots of thread, too. They had big, crazy spools of thread. I was actually surprised that they had that foam for, like, you know, to make cushions, and the pillows that they had there. They had a whole different selection of pillows for, you know, relatively cheap. So, I mean, I'm like, man, I could just come back here and, you know, if I wanted to make a bunch of pretty pillows or something, that would be a place to go. And then just wacky trims and weird patches and, you know, 60-gallon or whatever those giant drums. Those giant drums full of buttons. And many of them. Several of them. I am using, this is my mom's old sewing machine. It is a Sears Kenmore machine from the 70s. So nothing fancy. I definitely don't have one of those nice new fancy machines, although that'd be pretty sweet. But nope. All right. This is my last little panel, and then I can start sewing these guys together, pending I remember what order they all go in. Oh, I didn't trim anything up either, so I'll have to do that. But I think I'll do that one at a time. All right, let's press this. This is the biggest piece so far. Oh, geez, I thought my iron was going to fall over. Okay, give it a little press. Oh man, like I was saying last night, it's just so bulky and awkward to use, or awkward to move around with these big pieces of fabric. It's so different from working on the little Splendid Sampler blocks. Oh, hey, speaking of, oh, you have one of these too, metal workhorses, that's for sure. Yeah, it's been swell for sure, this sewing machine. Oh, let's give this whole thing a press. But it's Thursday. Isn't that when the new Splendid Sampler blocks come out? I can't remember, and I didn't check today. I wonder what the next block is. I wasn't paying attention to that. Or maybe it's not today even, I don't know. Gotta get my head in the game again. So since I'm going to be sewing these all together now, these panels, I finished sewing the panels. I'm going to sew them into one giant panel, which will be the next kind of border, the next left-hand border for my quilt. It has to get bigger and bigger. So I did the math on it. I think I need it like 96 inches by 100 inches tall for the back of this quilt. So I'm just keeping on adding fabric until I'm that big. Oh, it's block 2. Oh, yeah, that's right, because they left block 1 and 2 up. I forgot about that, so that makes sense. So the first 2 blocks are those 2, and then after that it'll switch up. Okay, so next up, I want to sew the panels together. So this one is the bottom panel, and I have to trim it yet. I didn't really trim, and I'm not quite quite sure how I'm going to trim this long piece. Well, first of all, you know, since I sewed that piece onto this piece, I can actually cut off a portion of that. So let's grab, here's one of my pieces that I'm not, I think if I can go at an angle like this, you guys can see a little bit better. But this is one of the pieces that is the full length of what I want it to be. So I just want to chop off some of this fabric so it's easier to work with. I don't need this big chunk here anymore. So I'm going to just trim that, just so I'm not dealing with all of that. I'll leave a little bit that I can trim there. Now I have this nice piece that I can use later. We'll put it there. Okay, this guy can go back in the pile. And there, now it'll be a hair easier to trim. I have to trim this little edge off yet. The bottom edge seems fine, but now it all fits on the ironing, or fits on the cutting table now at least. And it looks like I cut this pretty crooked to begin with, so I gotta go off the edge there, it looks like, and then back on about here to be kind of straight. Straight enough. Got a little weird angle at the end there. Okay. So this guy gets sewn to this one that we just pressed up here. This big blue one. However, now this has to be trimmed as well. So again, I'm going to just take that piece that I know is the right width, the one that I have no sewing on, no additional pieces on either side. Let's just kind of give us some work room again by trimming off a piece. Yeah, a lot of extra on here. Let's just try and straighten it out here. So much fabric. You know what? I think I gotta use a scissors for this one. Oh, my scissors is not here. It's way over in the other room. So, okay, what I'm gonna do instead is I'm gonna fold this once and we'll trim it that way. So number 2 from the first one, that's the like little butterflies, right? Yeah, wings. That is one I could afford to do again. That one could have used some work. The one that I did, it was a little kind of all over the place. I have learned to sew much straighter and more accurate since then. But we'll let it be. But I'm pretty confident that I could do a better job on that one if I did it again. All right, there we go. Now I'm going to just trim this extra off. Again, I'm doing plenty. But there, now I don't have to deal with this giant piece hanging out in my way. Okay, move this piece again. All right, so now we can sew these pieces together. So I wanted the dark blue, or this blue square with the black squares on this side. And then I wanted this shaped guy on this side. So it would kind of match up like that. So this is my plan. Oh, you need to do it again because you did it in a different project. That's funny. Yeah, those half square triangles, those kind of did me in on that block as well. I did not do those well, and oh, I have to trim this edge off. I didn't do those very well, and I remember I clipped a whole pile of wings all over the place. So all of those butterflies' little wings were good, but I did have fun with embroidery. I did metallic. I used metallic floss for their little antenna, and that was pretty fun. I did like that part of it. But yeah, sewing wise, I could probably do that one again and have it be much better this time around. Well, that ship has sailed a little bit, I think. I gotta at least finish the back of the quilt first, right? All right, let's sew this guy together. I'm not gonna use wonder clips. I'm just gonna kind of go for it. So it is getting kind of warm here again. I'm hoping the camera doesn't cut out like it did last night. So I'm shooting this on my phone for Facebook Live, and last night it just overheated. It just completely conked out and said, you need to basically get me into a cold area, so I'm overheated. Or I overheated, so I completely shut down. But it told me that it was from overheating. Oh, here's a batik right here. Yeah, I want to play more with batiks. And the neat thing about batiks is there's no right or wrong side to them either. It's just dyed all the way through. So I think that's kind of a neat thing to play with. So I think I'm gonna sew these in groups of 2, because then I don't have to deal with these giant, large pieces of fabric continually. So I think I'll do this is the bottom and the second from the bottom piece, and then I'll do the third and the fourth from the bottom piece together, and just keep going up the ladder like that before sewing the larger pieces together. I think maybe that's all I'll do. I won't sew the giant pieces together yet, and I think I'll press this all at once too, just because that's going to be annoying, and I might go to the floor for that. So we'll sew for a little longer, see how far we get in this. I'm sewing these couples together, basically. But this is the first piece, the first grouping. Trim that guy. All right, so we have the bottom 2 pieces. And again, I will press this later once I have the whole thing sewn together. So, all right, that is bottom and second to bottom. Next up, I have a thin little row. This one has no sewing on. And then this guy, which I wanted him on this edge over here. So it looks like I need to trim that quite a bit. Ooh, wow, this is a pretty long piece to trim, but we'll give it a try. All right. I need to kind of see the top a little. So we'll give this a try. I'm nervous to trim this one. We're not using rulers or anything. All right, trim to there. Ooh, didn't get a little piece. And we'll keep trimming hair off of this guy. Oh, this is a long piece yet. Looks like it gets all kind of crooked here. I think I'll trim like that to kind of even it out. And that might be okay. It's hard to tell, but it's okay if it's wonky. This whole back's going to be a bit wonky. All right, same thing. Scooch it down. Might be getting a little fatter there. It's hard to tell though. Just kind of winging it a little bit. All right, good enough. It'll be difficult to quilt in your machine. I know, it's gonna be really big. I have no idea, Joe. I sure hope not. That is dilemma. That's the next problem for me to tackle. I haven't thought that quite through yet. So, all right, this guy's gonna go on like that. You know what? I think I'll sew from this side. So yeah, you have to figure that out. I'm hoping I can roll it up pretty tight. So I am just doing straight line quilting, I think. So that should make it a little easier on me, I think. Just get the walking foot on there and sew a pile of straight lines. I'll sew the center first. So I'm gonna stitch in the ditch. That's it. So I'll just stitch in the ditch around the blocks, which basically means I'm gonna sew around the block. So I'm gonna just sew long bits that will go in between each block, so nothing decorative at all. And then after that, I wanted to put some denser lines, straight lines in the border. But now I'm thinking, I wonder how straight I'll be able to make that. And that kind of depends on my whole quilt being straight, which I'm sure it's not. And I might have to rethink that a little bit. The stitch in the ditch part, though, I know I'm going to do that. I am not sure what kind of batting yet either. I have some batting here, although I have to get it out. I'm not sure what kind it is. And then my mom and I have some like bamboo batting that's kind of thin and drapey at her house, so I might use that. Although I'm not sure how much more we have of that. I don't know. It's a whole dilemma. It's not big and fluffy batting though, so that should reduce the size a little bit. I'll just see how it goes. All right, there's still quite a bit on here. Okay, here is this next coupling. Oh, you know what? I might have done this upside down. Oh, wait, no, I didn't. I'm working from the bottom up. So I had this this one bit, and then here. Oh, painter's tape to put in the borders. Okay, I think I'm going to have to do that. That's a good idea. Put painter's tape down and use that as a guide. All right, so this goes here, and then the piece that we just did goes underneath it here. And I'm just going to keep sewing my pairs together, though. I think I have one more pair. So here's another just strip. And then this guy, who's going to kind of float in the middle, that's next. So I need to trim this so it's, oh, first of all, let's trim it so the width is a similar width. Like we did for the other ones. There, so I can cut a chunk off here. Wow, this is really kind of an odd shape here. We'll just go like that, and we should be good. Okay, first of all, trimming down these. So this doesn't look all that straight, but I don't know. See how it goes. That didn't feel like it cut very well. Time to replace the blade. I keep saying that, but I still haven't done it. And this side here, trim that off. Okay, so we got that. Now it just needs just a tiny trim. Oh, this is awfully crooked too. Maybe I sewed this really weird. All right. I could have just cut it really oddly too. All right, that's one cut. It's gonna be what it is in the end. This one's pretty odd looking here. I think I just need to trim off this funny little jobber there. Okay. Yeah, Bonnie, that painter's tape is that blue tape. All right, we should be good to go. This goes on the bottom. I think we'll air on the side like that because the one underneath isn't very straight. Okay. Let's rotate this a little. This guy, actually, I have one more panel to sew to the top of this one, so we'll do that yet tonight, I think. Then I think during the day I might, oh, I think they have green stuff too. Yeah, you might be right, Joe. But yeah, it's that tape that goes on easily and comes off easily. And doesn't harm anything. So before we sew tomorrow, I will press these, and then I think we'll try and sew these groupings together. But I want to sew the one more panel out of this one tonight. Okay. We'll get this. So this is the bottom panel. Bottom little bit. And I have one more piece to throw on the top of this one, and then all our pieces are started. And then it's just finishing it up tomorrow. Let's get this as straight as I can. Oh, this is an awkwardly cut piece too. I think we'll go like that, but you know what? I think I'm going to trim this. I don't think this is very straight. So I'm just going to trim it to match a little bit. There we go. I think that'll do the job. All right. Bring this down beneath here. It's always fun when these scrappy guys get integrated into the quilt. It just really finishes them. They look a lot less scrappy all of a sudden. Just a pile of glue here. last little bit, trying to line it up. There we go. Edge is a little long, so I'm just go like that. Okay, and that is that. So I will press these probably tomorrow afternoon, and then there we go. Tomorrow evening, I will get all these panels sewn together, and I'll have made a big left side of the quilt. So that is that for tonight, guys. I'm gonna flip you around. Oop. There we go. Hello. So, okay. Here is that panel we just did there. So now it's a floating panel in this border. So instead of having one big dense border, then I have like this floating block in it. Do you have any of the blocks that you made with the sticky Solvay? I don't have any of those to add to the back. I do actually have a ton of those really small scraps that we could use the sticky Fabri-Solvay. I'm not going to use any of those for the back. I used a bunch for the front already, and they're really hefty, and I thought, you know, we'd just use these bigger scraps for the back. So nope, not going to do any of those in the back, at least not as of now. We'll see. I'm not done yet. But yeah, it's getting there, Judith. We're cruising along here, and now I'm adding these large pieces, so it's gonna come together quick, hopefully. I mean, it's taking over my floor, so it needs to get out of here. I'm ready for it to be off the floor, out of the living room, so we're getting there. So, all right, guys, that's it for tonight. I will be back here again tomorrow at 9:30 p.m. Central, and this will go up on YouTube tonight at Penguin and Fish Movies. So thanks again, guys. Have a great Friday tomorrow, and I'll see you in the evening. Good night.